Welcome to Behind the Muscle Podcast. Today's guest is an IFBB pro. Today's guest is Bryan Balzano. Bryan, welcome back to the podcast, man.
Thanks for having me, dude.
Yeah, for sure. So, all of you who are tuning into this episode of Behind the Muscle Podcast with Bryan, Bryan earlier this year won the 212 at the Indy Pro, and he came onto the podcast and really kind of got into the nitty gritty with his life story, his bodybuilding story. So if you guys kind of want to listen to Bryan's story, go back into the episodes and find that episode. Today, we're just going to talk about how his prep's going into the Olympia here in December. So Bryan, I just kind of want to pick up where we left off. So last time you were on, you were fresh off your win at Indy Pro. Why don't you talk about maybe those first few weeks after the Indy Pro? Did you take a little time off? What did that look like? And then why don't you just start walking us into when you started prep for the Olympia and how things have been going?
All right. So essentially, I didn't take like much time off. I must have like half-assed it. So like the first month after the show, I just went in for like a quick 1 hour like lift. And I just had a free diet. I just like told my coach, like Justin, like that's what I wanted. And he was cool with it. Like he's like, dude, like your genetics are there, but he's like, I'd rather get to work sooner than later for the Olympia. But he's like, if that's what you need, that's what you need. So I'm not gonna argue. So like I took about 4 weeks of just eating what I want. And I'm not sure if you watched any of the stories or whatnot, but I had a lot of people like reach out to me because like I was eating pretty like crazy, like because I still work. So like the goal was like, I work for Chase Bank, work like 8 to 5, have my meals or just like larger set meals that I was already doing, just chicken, rice, beef and potatoes with just more there. And then like after work, it was just a free for all. Go work out, just going like, every night, go out to dinner with some friends, sushi, burgers. And then after the dinner, just get all the dessert I want, donuts, the crumble cookies. I was eating like a 2-pound slice of cake. I was slamming stuff. People were like, dude, like you need to calm down, but like it's what I wanted to do. I want to celebrate. That month I posted like update. I was up like I was 207. I think I weighed in like 222. Like after that month, so I gained some weight, but I still look good. I still felt healthy. I wasn't retaining water at all. So it's kind of like what I wanted to do and just enjoy the moment. So I just kind of like did half list, but I didn't have any restrictions. I didn't hold back. I just ate whatever I wanted in any amount I wanted. And it was quite binging. Like every night it was like a whole box of Twinkies, a whole box of Ho-Hos, something. So like it's not the best. I'm not telling people out there to do that, but I could, and it didn't affect me at all. Then we got back to work. He was like, "Dude, you still have striations in your glutes." So in the end, it didn't really affect anything. I think in the end, it probably helped me more, So so we got back to work there to do like a little bit of off season. We got up to 238 at the heaviest, not too much more than 222. But we started prep 12 weeks out for the Mr. Olympia. So we have only just begun. So like, but it's like a staggered prep. So like at 12 weeks, the rules were this is beginning, but there's no more cheating. Like up until that point, like I could cheat whatever I wanted. I still had like 4 or 5 cheat meals a week. But so the rules were just like, no, he cut out pasta, that moved to rice and got rid of the bagel in the morning, more oatmeal. So like no more like all clean food, still in a bunch, but it was like, all right, no more cheats. Cardio was just entered last week. But we're still eating about 2 cups of rice per meal so there's 6 whole meals, 1 like breakfast meal, which is like shake, oatmeal, and peanut butter. So 7 total. So I'm still eating a lot of food. We just started cardio. But besides that, like, even though we're within 9 weeks now, we haven't really started prep per se, but like we are slowly like leaning out. So I'm currently 226. So we're down 12 pounds from the heaviest, but it's not like I just started cardio at four times a week, and it's 20 minutes a session fasted, so not much. And then we're still eating 2 cups of rice 6 times a day, and then 80 grams of oatmeal in the morning. So I'm still eating a good amount of carbs. So I couldn't be happier. And he says that from this last update that we're weeks ahead of schedule. I'm not the expert. I'm over here like, are we kind of behind? I don't know, but he's like, dude, like, so he gave me a cheat meal last night and a cheat meal tonight that I'm going to get because he wants to stop the weight loss. But besides that, yeah, so it's going pretty smooth right now.
So I saw an update. I think maybe it was this past Friday, sometime last week, that you posted on your IG, and I was like, holy smokes, Bryan is looking insane. Where were you at body weight wise at that point? If you know which update picture I'm talking about.
And I was 228.2 in that photo.
Okay. Now, I mean, when you look at yourself, like when you look at that photo specifically, obviously looking at yourself, I mean, what do you think? What are your eyes telling you? I mean, are you really happy with that look, even at 228 pounds, or are you always just kind of like, I could be better?
I think the athlete in me, because like even like upon like when I first take it, you're like this is as good as I look. Like I'm not impressed. But then like when you post it and everyone's sending you messages and it's like, dude, and go like you're like, okay, like maybe I do look pretty good at like 9 weeks out. But like I think just like the athlete in you is like, I'm not like that Nick Walker kind of guy that's like, just like I'm gonna win. I'll look great. Like I'm not saying I'm not confident, but I'm more like a concrete person. Like until I'm in history, like I've won it. I'm not gonna say I'm going to, but like I still believe in myself. I still know that I can do it. But like I'm just not that person to go around and talk. So like when I look at it, I'm like, until I'm like number one, I don't look at myself and I'm like, man, I look good. I'm just like, all right, like I'm looking good right now, but I still have more work to do because I'm not number one.
Yeah. What cheat meal did you have last night? What are you going to have tonight?
So I had a burger and fry at a place called The Rail last night, and tonight I'm going to get Genji Go, which is hibachi. Okay. So it's like hibachi to go, and like we're not going to sit down and like watch, but I'm just going to go in. It's some pretty good food, so that's what I'm going to enjoy today, and then hopefully my weight will go back up a little bit because we're 226 right now, and just like the goal is to hit 212. Like I'm from the last update, I'm looking great, but we're just like we want to weigh in at 212 when we're only 14 pounds, 9 weeks, like 8.5 weeks out. Like that's not much weight to lose to make weight.
What when you were kind of doing your binge eating after your win, what was kind of like some of the favorite foods that you were enjoying at that time, Bryan?
The two things that I enjoyed the most were Uncrustables. I was like, I don't know, those were so good, and then Twinkies. Like those are my top two things. Cool. I just my massage sponsor, Atachi Therapy, we had a family size Uncrustable box from like Costco that he had in the truck. So like the minute the show was done, dude, we just went to town on those. And then I got home and I was like, I know, like, I just like at the store, like I saw like a Twinkie. I'm like, oh, it's been like years. And I was like, it was like the greatest tasting like thing I've ever had. I was like, so then I just bought boxes and boxes of Twinkies.
I love it, man. Okay, so what's kind of like in terms of your weight training, Bryan? What's kind of like your focus right now during this prep leading into the Olympia? Are you trying to bring up a body part, or what's kind of the focus specifically for your weights at this point?
So to me, nothing has changed at all. I'm doing the exact same thing, same routine, same exercises almost every single day. Like from what like my coach says and everyone else, like you're very balanced. There's not really like a lagging part. The one thing I think my arms could be bigger. I think like my arms are like my weakest body part. From what everyone says, like you are kind of bottom heavy. Like my legs are pretty big, but besides that, like it's not like unproportionate. It's like you still look good, but they could just have a little more girth to it compared to your legs. So really just I was trying to focus more on just like squeezing the arms, but in general, like it's it hasn't changed much from before. I'm maybe like doing more pump sets or like a few more sets overall in the arms, but like I just want to keep uniform with what I'm doing and keep the same look, just make it harder and bigger.
Right.
So really that's all Justin said was like, you know, at 207, we still have 5 pounds to go to the weight limit. And he thinks that we got the 5 pounds this off season to go into Olympia. So it's really just keep the same physique, the same conditioning, bring the glutes in, just 5 pounds heavier.
What is, because there's going to be people that are going to be watching and listening to this that didn't or won't go back and watch and listen to the other episodes. So what is kind of your training style or philosophy, just generally speaking, Bryan?
So I work out for a long time, and I like to focus on sets. So it's like I use a medium amount of weight. I don't do heavy weight or low weight. I like about 12 to 15 rep range, but I like to do like 15 sets for like each exercise. So like my blueprint is 3 exercises for each body part. So if I'm doing chest, do 3 things, which my 3 things are barbell bench, flat bench, incline dumbbell, and then this like Cybex cable machine, like press machine. So I just do that. So it's like essentially like an hour a piece, an hour of benching, an hour of incline benching, an hour of the cable pressing. That's what I do. And it comes like, it's not like I'm timed or here, but it's like, once you warm up, it's like, I just do between like 8, 10, 12 sets, however many sets that like my physique like tells me. So it's like people like, I don't use a logbook. I don't believe in like progressive overload. It does work, but like, I just like, it's the thing of like, just listen to your body. Like some days weaker than others.
Whoops.
And some days like you're stronger, like you didn't sleep, the food, if you got sick. So it's like, I'm not worried about like, oh my God, I didn't put 5 more pounds in the bar or get 1 more rep or 1 more set. Some days like I will lower the weight if I'm just having a good pump and just do more sets, but it's not about doing more. It's just like, I just want that feeling of that. Like, I know there's all that blood in my chest and like, it's completely failed over that 3-hour period that I can't even like when I go home and shower, I try to like wash my shoulder and my chest like starts to like spasm and like lock up. So it's like once I've reached that moment, it's done. I know I've pushed myself to that limit. So
I know. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's like most people are gonna be like, because I've heard another podcast like that level of training can like ruin your physique, or it's too much, or you're not repairing. And I don't know, like based on my genetics, it works for me, but like maybe I am like maybe I could be bigger or look better, but from what everyone says, like my conditioning is unbelievable. It's what's like it's working. So like I don't want to change it. It's how I do, because I feel like if I back off, I'm gonna look worse, but I could potentially like be better. But it's just like that's the level of like intensity that I need, and what's allowed me to make that 2.5-year transformation from 150 pounds to 207 pound stage weight. So like it works for me, and I guarantee you I'm going to get criticized hard for this style of training. But like once again, how many people have made that transformation in 2.5 years? So you can tell me it's bad, but it's completely worked for me. And I'm not injured. I'm not getting surgeries anymore. So I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah. Well, if you ask me, it sounds a lot like how Jay Cutler trained. I mean, he was quote unquote higher volume. And I mean, he did 12 to 15 reps, and it was never to failure. It wasn't progressive overload. He didn't have a training log book. So it seemed to work for Jay Cutler, right?
Yeah.
So.
And what better of a person to like, follow off of that. So,
right.
If he's the one that took down Ronnie, then you got to respect him.
Amen, man. Now I've got to ask you, you said that you do barbell bench. Now that is something I don't see or hear of any other IFBB pros at your level doing. Is that just a movement that you've found that works for you and you're just going to write it out? Because a lot of guys shy away from it because of like pec tears and stuff like that.
Yeah. So like, I know like all my friends, even in the gym, I've had 3 shoulder surgeries and a bicep surgery from the bicep tendon like popping off. So, I know the science says, I mean, it's absolutely awful for your shoulder joint. I have a terrible shoulder joint. Never had a pec tear, but that motion is very vulnerable to tearing. So but like it's the one exercise since a kid. Like I've always loved it and I've never let it go. So it's like it's the one thing that I mentally need. I know that it's not the best, but it's like that's just what I need to make me happy. And like, so like when I tell people advice, like, what do I do? Like, you know, if like when like I don't squat or do any type of like squatting in general, like I'll do the hack squat or this plate loaded like squat and just like control. But like I don't barbell squat, I don't do any of that or deadlift. And like, well, you can't get legs if you don't barbell squat or front squat. And I'm like, if anyone tells you that, it's wrong, but it's almost like the placebo effect. Like if you hate an exercise and you just don't like have a love for it, you're never going to make progress. But like if you see that one person who just like trains like an idiot but just loves an exercise, like you're going to get more stimulus from that because you're mentally like into it, like you love it. It's almost like when you think you're sick, you're going to become sick. Like if you love a bad exercise and you got terrible form, it's still better than trying to do something that you hate, that you're just never going to enjoy, and you're never going to get those endorphins that like that are going to help you like make more muscle. So like for me, like I don't know if it's the best, but like I love bench press and I'm happy. It just kind of gets me going. It gets me excited. So like, I'm never going to stop doing it. And, you know, just, you know, knock on wood that I haven't had a pec tear or had anything injured because of bench pressing. I've been injured in my shoulders for other reasons outside of the gym, but I've never been hurt inside the gym really. Right. So until that happens, I'm going to keep riding that train out.
Do you keep the barbell bench in like even 1 week out, or do you switch things up like when you're that close to a competition?
So nothing changes. So like chest is Friday, so which will be 1 week out from the show because the 212 Olympia is on Friday. So that Friday before the show, I'm gonna put on my normal weight. Like so, I just like benching 275, do like very slow control reps. Start at 15 and like 15, 12, 12, 10, 8, and just keep going until I can't get 6. But like each rep's like 3 or 4 seconds just coming down. And I just want to feel it. And like, so like to me, off season, in season, the way I train, the style of training, how long I train, my strength will obviously vary week per week, but nothing changes. The only thing that changes is the food I'm eating. So even like legs, like yeah, it's like I do legs Wednesday or Thursday. I've kind of flopped my off day or leg day here as needed. So like it's either leg day Wednesday, off day Thursday. If I want my off day Wednesday, I'll do legs Thursday. But like when that comes, I'm still gonna slam them the same way 1 week out from the show. Okay. I don't believe of like going easy or doing 80% and just like because even times like you should be ready, like stage ready, like 2 weeks out from the show. And kind of go into it. So like if like how each show that's kind of how we've done it. And I am feathered, I am dry, I have striations. I'm like, so even though like that style of training holds water in the muscle, you know, it is genetic how you retain water. And like after each lift, like I'm not retaining water in the skin. I'm still dry as hell. Some people might hold water and it might ruin their physique. But for me, it's like almost like Sean Clarita. Like he does the same. He's squatting like 1,000 pounds every week, even 1 week out from the show. And I'm like the same way. Like whatever formula I have been doing, it's the same 20 weeks out, and it's going to be the same 1 week out.
What do you do for your arms? What's kind of like your go-to for arms? Because you said that is an area that maybe you could put on a little size.
So go-to is right now it's like this like weird like almost like straight down like metal bar. It's like the ropes, but I don't like the ropes. It just I feel because of the shoulder surgeries, I feel kind of like weak, like the stability of like coming down. I can't really stabilize the shoulder, so it's like metal ropes. I'll start with that, and I'll just do that for like an hour, and then I'll do like an easy bar, wide push down to hit the outer head of it, and then just do that for an hour. Really, that's all I do. And then because the amount of bench pressing, military pressing is also stimulating my triceps throughout the week. And then for biceps, I'll start with I'll warm up with some like what's it like the alternating like dumbbell curls, and then I'll probably focus on the cable that, and then do single arm cable hammers. Okay. and that's it. So it's just I do those 2 for triceps, those 3 for biceps. That's it. And my triceps are much larger than my bis, mainly because once again of all the pressing I have in my weekly routine, and my tris are always pumped in general. So that's why I do one less tricep than bicep. But most people are probably gonna be like, oh, like, you know, your triceps are bigger, you should focus on them. But like my tricep is much larger than my bicep. So I don't want to emphasize it too much. I want to put more blood in the bicep.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you paid attention to some of the other like 212 or open shows throughout the competitive season this year, Bryan, or not really?
Yeah, I have. I haven't really bought any like the live streams, but like I've watched like the real Bodybuilding podcast and watch all their predictions. And then like, you know, I don't watch the shows per se, but I will watch, you know, like all the results, all that, like keep an eye on who's winning and who's not.
Who are there some guys in the 212 or open that have really kind of caught your eye in some of the earlier shows? If so, who's that for you?
Gotta say Keon Pearson. Obviously, like he's the one to always keep your eye on. He's got that God-given shape that like is almost unbeatable. So you know, with him, always impressed. Just like you're just naturally drawn to him, you know, like you want to keep your eye on him. So he's one. Besides that, like Sean Farida, I love his physique. Like he's large, man. Like even though once again, like he's 180 pounds, but I mean, like dude, he's got some serious muscle to try to go up against.
Yeah.
But yeah, besides Sean and Keon, there's really no one else besides that. I feel like that Ping guy, like I don't know if he's like Japanese, the one guy that won early on over there that has like incredible shape too.
Okay.
It's like young
I'm not
Ping.
familiar with him.
Like Derek just did a video and he brought like like it's I can't pronounce his name. Like I could pull up his Instagram, but he like won like shortly after like I did or before to get his Olympia qualification. But it's like young Ping something, but dude has like an incredible like shape. So I'm excited to see him because like from the pictures, he looks like almost too like he could take the title. But like, you know, until you see people in person, you can't really go off of Instagram pictures.
Yeah. Speaking of Derek Lunsford, where do you think he's going to do some damage in the open this year at the Olympia?
I do. You know, I know he didn't really push and try to get size, but his overall shape and just being able to vacuum and all that stuff, like I know he needs to be like a little like harder. Like he is like separated. He's not like granite dry. But I think he'll do very well. Like if you're asking my opinion, I think he'll be top 6. I don't think that's a question. I think he's there, but I can't like you obviously can never tell like exactly where, but like if I had to put money on it, there's no doubt in my mind he's going to be top 6.
Yeah. Well, just like you said with Keon and his structure, I mean, if you look at Derek, I mean, the structure's there, and what he was able to bring last year at the 212 Olympia, I mean, with added size, I mean, I'm right with you. I mean, I think there's a possibility that he could even get in the top 3 if the cards fall right. I mean, that's what I personally believe because the structure's there, the size is there. We've never seen him outside of update photos, you know, in the 220s, 230s, wherever he's going to land. So, I mean, I'm excited, man. Aren't you?
Yeah. And also too, because like with this year, I mean, everyone's talking, dude. This is going to be the craziest Olympia in a long time because like now, like Ramy, Hottie, Andrew, Jack, Crizzo, good Vito might be there. Derek Lunsford moves up. Like there's so many new things coming that like you don't know where. And then like also now like Hottie obviously is gonna have visa issues. We don't even know if he's gonna be there. So like you know, like how you said like the cards line up, like Derek could be top 3. Like, do I think Derek could beat Hottie right now? I don't know. In my opinion, I think Hottie should have been the Miss Olympia in the last couple of years. I just, you know, no offense to Big Ramy, but like I love Hottie's physique. He's got mass. He's got insane conditioning. Like I love conditioning, glutes everywhere. Like, you know, I keep that as a high standard. So looking up the hottie, like he's someone that comes in absolutely peeled, hard, dry. So like in my eyes, I just see it all. Whereas I feel like Big Ramy, once again, amazing mass, but the overall package to me, like if I had to choose, I'd rather be hottie than Big Ramy.
Well, and Hottie came from 212, so that's got to be kind of encouraging for you, right? I mean, think about that though. Hottie 212, Derek Lunsford 212. I mean, I think it's pretty cool seeing you just had Tonio Burton, who got 10th place at 212 Olympia last year. He just won a pro show. He's in the Open, Mr. Olympia. I mean, what are your thoughts on Bryan? These 212 competitors moving to the Open and doing so well in the Open. And do you feel like they should just shut down the 212? What are your thoughts with that? So first of all, guys going to the Open from the 212 and doing so well. And then what do you think about in terms of the future of the 212? Because there's a lot of talk about it maybe, eventually being done, which I hope it's not, but you never know.
Yeah. So the first part, I do like 212s going to Open. I think they're doing so well is because once again, I like, no offense to Open, but like another podcast, like they've talked about it on a couple of like, as you get bigger, like detail kind of like dies, or it's hard to keep. So it's like 212 competitors are mainly like more conditioned. So it's like, so they're doing so well is because proportionately, like, we might be shorter, but we still have that muscle look. We're still big people. When you talk about like everything being like being relative, like Sean Clarita, probably the smallest bodybuilder there is technically in the league, but he doesn't look the smallest. He might weigh the smallest, but it's like everything is relative, and that's why he's doing so well. And it's like many people have said, like, size shouldn't be the only thing that matters in bodybuilding. I know in pro bodybuilding, it's the most important aspect because that's what being a pro bodybuilder is. Like, you ask people, it's huge, but there's more than just size. So I think 212 is doing so well is because, yes, proportionally, we are just as big as you, but we're more conditioned. We're harder because it's just smaller, so it's easier to keep that level of conditioning. And then as you see over time, there's like Kai Green, there's a few guys, dude, he's shredded and dry hair, but like the majority of Open detail starts to die as you start getting that big. So I think that's why 212s are doing very well, is because when you stand next to these guys, proportionally the muscle's the same, but it's better quality. So the second part to your question, when you talk about is 212 going to be gone, I do believe that's going to happen. Mainly because I think like when Bob Cigarella, like when they asked why isn't there a Open versus 212 winner, and they're because like back in the day when Arnold and like Franco, they'd be the overall winner. And I'm not sure when this interview was, but like their answer was because if you wanted to be Miss Olympia, just go Open. There's no weight limit. You can be 150, 300, 400, 80 pounds. It don't matter. So like there's a 212 for the 212 and below, but there is no weight limit in Open. It's all weight. So why have an overall when you can just move Open? So I feel like with that ideology, it's almost inevitable of like just make all pro bodybuilders in one division and that's it. And because before there was just 212 and Open, now there's Physique, now there's Classic. There's so many divisions now. There might be more, it's getting larger. So with all these added divisions, it only makes sense of like at some point, I just feel like it's going to be mixed into one, because why have 212 and Open when no other division has two separate? Yeah. So that's why like Chris Bumstead and Rough Diesel, like, yes, there's massive height difference, but they're still on the same stage, same division here. It's like, so I think it's going to go that way of like height doesn't matter. It's just, if you're a pro bodybuilder, you're all Open. That's it.
Yeah. I don't know. It'll be interesting. You brought up a really good point though, Bryan, too. Cause like at one point, it was 212 and Open, but now we've got, the men's Physique, you got the Classic. So that was a great point. I didn't think of it that way. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Okay. So getting back into kind of your prep for the Olympia, what's your mindset, Bryan, going into the Olympia, where would you like to see yourself place at this year's Olympia?
So, like, obviously, like, I want to win. I know I can do it. But like overall, like, just my expectations, like, I want to be top 5. You know, like, I'll be top 5. I'll be happy. If I'm not top 5, I'll be sad. But like, so that's the overall goal. Is like, you know, I'm fine with top 5, but when it comes down to it, like, I know I could place top 3, and everyone around me has told that, like, you know, that, like, you know, you come in at 212 with your glutes and that conditioning, and you keep your posing in check, to like, dude, like, you can do it. Like, you know, you are 5'4". You, like, everyone's like in person. You're like, I'm not the greatest at taking pictures, but everyone like has seen me in person from Instagram is like, dude, like, you're much bigger in person than you are on your page. I'm like, yeah, like, you know, like, I'm not the greatest at taking photos, but like, considering, like, if I'm 5'4", I weigh in at 212, and I have shredded glutes, and I have good shape, and I don't have bad shape, how could I not be in the run to win the show? So I'll be happy with top 5, but my expectation is I want to walk out with that win. And I know I can do it.
Absolutely. Now, when it comes to kind of like setting goals or you know, talking talk like we are right now, is that something that you write down, or is that just kind of stuff that you keep back in the back of your mind?
More keep it in the back of my mind. Like, when it comes to like at work and like things I gotta do, like, you know, like errands, I'll make lists. But when it comes to, like, you know, I don't keep a logbook. I don't write things down. Like, it's more of just like, it's in the sport. Like, I don't need to be motivated. You need to be disciplined. So it's like, it's just, I don't need to see something like write down and be like, you know, I'm gonna win the Mr. Olympia. Like, it's just, if it's not already in your head that you can, and you need to like read something every day, then like, I feel like at that point, like, you failed. Like, it needs to be within you. Like, I don't watch YouTube videos, people train. Like, yes, I watch like the podcast and like that, but like, you know, I don't watch things to get me hyped to go to the gym. I don't watch like all my friends, like, you know, like, let's watch Jay Cutler train chest before he train chest. And like, why would I want to watch that? Like, I like Jay Cutler, and, you know, for watching it, but like, you know, that's not, I don't need that to get in the mood to be like, to go do my job. So it's always in the back of my mind, and I don't really write things down or talk about it. It's just, it's there. And when it's just me and my thoughts, you're in a bad time, you're like, dude, like, you know, you can do this. I know, like, you haven't, like, I've only been here, like, when I get to Olympia, it'll be 3 years. Like, you know, like, I may not be able to pull off win this year, let's say, but I know in the upcoming years, like, it don't, like, to make it to Olympia, and like, even though I won my pro card, but like, I started from scratch in 2019. To go from a hospital bed to the Olympia stage in 3 years is unbelievable. So like, the progress that I've made in doing that in this year, and you give me 2 more years. Like, once again, like, you know, I do believe there's a chance I can win this year, but you give me 2 more years, I don't think, like, I know I'm going to. It's just a matter of time. And like, who else has made that level of progress? Like, even like Nick Walker, when he made that like 8-year transformation here, like, people, like, I remember like a few people comment on that one post, like, dude, like, you made Nick Walker's transformation in 3. Like, you know, he did his in 8, and everyone freaked out. And they're like, you went from a child to an Olympian in half that time. So I know what I'm capable of. I'm here right now. I might need a little more time to just nurture this physique, but in my mind, like, we've had 6 or 7 months since Indy. That's more than enough time to make improvements from that physique. And if we do come in at the top of the weight limit with my glutes, which I'm sure they're going to be there, then, you know, I have all the confidence in the world that, like, I know I can do this. And I can't pinpoint it, but like, in my heart, I know I can. And if it's not this year, it's going to be next year.
Agreed, man. Okay, now you've mentioned Justin. You're referring to your coach, Justin Compton, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, how long have you been working with Justin? And then kind of a follow-up question with that, Bryan. How important do you think it is to have an elite coach in your corner as an elite athlete pursuing, whether it's an IFBB pro card, your first pro win, or stepping on the Olympia stage. So how long have you been working with Justin, and then how important it is to have an elite level coach when you're trying to be an elite athlete, whether amateur or pro?
So I've been working with Justin since the very beginning of 2014. So we got together end of 2013 and then started the first of the year. So 2014, 15, like 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Yeah, 9 years, almost a decade. Now, obviously, I didn't compete for like 6 of those because I was dealing with surgeries. But he's the only coach I've ever had since day one, and the only coach I'm probably ever going to have. He's never failed me. We've never came in off. I respect him as a person. I respect the way he does everything. Like, we have the same ideology, like the same beliefs in how we attack bodybuilding, of how we have nutrition, of how we train. So I honestly out there think he's probably one of the best coaches and the most underrated coaches. I'm not sure, like, everyone talks about like the gurus and like all these other guys, but like I think Justin is just as good, if or better than all of them, because he found out my physique literally in 4 months. When, like, I went from nothing to like winning the show, and then 78 days later, got my pro card. So he understood my body right off the bat super fast. And then overall, like, I do believe that having a coach is very important. Or I'm not sure about an elite coach, because many people probably wouldn't have considered him an elite coach when I did turn pro 9 years ago. So, but like in general, it's just, I think you have to have a coach, because once again, it's so hard to stay out of your own mind, to look at yourself, to understand, like, when your brain starts to get fogged, all stuff like, do you keep going through cardio? I know you want that extra meal or a high carb day or a cheat meal, and you just do it. Whereas, like, I don't know, like, I just don't think you can do it. You're like, honestly grade yourself good enough and honest enough to get ready for a show. So, like, I believe if you want true success, like, if you're doing this at first, you just do it and get some discipline and get the basics down. You don't need a coach here, but like, if you want true success and you're an athlete, like, I'm not doing this to mess around. I'm doing this because I want to be a top contender. I want to be the best in the world. I truly believe you cannot do it on your own. You need a coach, and you need to choose wisely and choose a good coach, because there's a lot of shitty coaches out there that can waste your time. So do the research, put in, the effort to like find someone that you truly believe in and that has credible results. And also that won't risk your health. Right. Many coaches out there can get you to look good, but they don't care about your health whatsoever. So like the goal is like to be number one and then be unhealthy. Like, I want to be number one, but still live a very healthy life.
So speaking of kind of having a healthy life along with your bodybuilding career, I know there for a while, you might be still doing, I haven't seen it lately, but you were doing some lives while you were getting some deep tissue work done. So why don't you talk about some of the stuff outside of the gym that you do, like the deep tissue work, whatever else you might do, Bryan, that, is a huge part of your bodybuilding success?
Yeah. So, pretty much, there's not much more I do on that. It's just, I should stretch, but I don't. I'm not even going to try to say I even attempt to do that. But the tissue work I do, we just started doing lives again. Just kind of fell off a little bit on the Instagram, but massage work, since I don't stretch, is very important to me. So like, it's kind of like outsourcing it. Like, I can stretch myself here and there, but I'm like, what, like, my sponsor, my good friend, all that stuff, he's a great massage therapist. Like, I'd rather have someone do that than me go home and put a lacrosse ball in here or just lay on the foam rollers. Like I'm way too lazy to do that. Just, you dig your elbow in my leg and I'll scream. I'm not gonna do it to myself. But the massage work is very important. Maybe every so often I'll see a chiropractor, like if I'm having like a little bit of back pain or something like that, but that's kind of rare. The massage is every single week. Gym, that's it. But besides that, I don't really have much more time because I have that real career. I do work 8 to 5. Still going, like, I'm still in the real world, So there's not much more I can do really to like for my bodybuilding career. So I'm just kind of like, I'm allocating the resources the way I need. And that's it. And like right now, like, could I use more mobility? Could I do more of this? Yes, but do like the 24 hours I have in my day, to make a salary, to continue bodybuilding, all stuff. It's just I gotta pick and choose what to me is most important, and that's kind of how I do it. So it's just my normal stuff, and the massage work is really the only thing I'm doing outside of all the normal stuff.
Mm-hmm. What type of body work or massage does your therapist do, or is it a variety? Does you do like Graston and cupping and all that too, or is it just usually with the hands?
So he's what's like I can't think of the word. So he can do it all. So right now we're still doing just hands, but like last rep he did tons of Graston. We've done cupping. He's primarily focused on like NMT, neuromuscular therapy. He can do ART. So he kind of does it all, but like as of right now, he was like, there's really no need to do the Graston yet. We've done cupping here and there, and like more cupping in the off season. But he will do it more towards the show too. More in the legs too, like not even like really like just leaving the cups on. Like the cups more in the back, but like on the legs, he'll do the cups and then like glide it over the quad. So it's kind of like, so it's just pulling all that tissue apart and keeping the quads loose. But yeah, so it's like each week it'll vary. I just tell him what muscle I want, and then he'll just choose which type of therapy that we're gonna go along with that day. But we'll probably start doing more Graston and more of that here soon, because like off season was just more cupping and more just hands and getting in there and just digging through it all.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna start heading to the finish line here, Bryan. But I want to ask you, going back to kind of the open 212 thing, would you ever consider maybe just doing one or two open shows, or you just want to stick to 212?
Yeah, so I mean I do it like, do I want to be bigger? No. Like, would I ever go open because like I'm Derek and I want to be 260 pounds? No. Like there is no way in hell I'm ever gonna be that heavy. But just staying the same body like Sean Carita doing open, I would definitely do that. So like I think for me, like what we got to 238 this off season, like 240 would be the like that, like 238, like 240 would be the absolute most body weight that I ever want to be. It's so uncomfortable. It's quite miserable. So if I could just take that 235 like we got every year and just make it harder and harder and harder and more, like that's kind of what I would do. But like I definitely do an open show. I just don't want more body weight.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, last thing I want you to touch on and expound on is something you said earlier about, you don't need to be motivated. You just need to be disciplined to do basically what you need to do each day. Talk about that mindset, because motivation is kind of a word that's thrown around a lot everywhere. But why is discipline more important to you than motivation? Because I agree with you.
Because motivation is temporary. Like it's like a single flick, a single detail can derail it. Motivation is almost like an emotion. It's just like it comes, but it can leave super fast. Discipline, it doesn't matter if you're sick, you're happy, you're sad, you're here, like you have to do it. So it's like if you think of it as like a job, like we all have a real job. We're here. It's like you can't just call off sick. Like I know some jobs you can, but the main thing is like feel like you can't just not go to work. So it's like if you treat your passion like that, like your job, like there are days like I really don't want to train. Like I love training. I love Bible. Like there are days like I'm human. Like I wake up, I'm like, fuck, I don't want to do this. Like I just say, but it's like you have to go to work. You have to. You have clients. Like if you're like if you are a doctor, you have here like you run some practice or business. You can't just be like, hey, I'm going to cancel everybody. I got to go. So it's like it's the same concept of like, oh, it's like I'm in the gym, like just I don't feel the greatest. Like should I go? Like if you treated your life like that, you literally wouldn't. You'd be bankrupt. You'd be living on the street. You'd be homeless. It's like, but that's no excuse. Like if you want this, that's the same thing. Like motivation is just temporary. Discipline's forever. Once you learn discipline, nothing can stop you, and you have like unlimited potential. you can be whatever you want, but it doesn't matter if you're happy, sad, or anything. It's like you're not gonna stop because you understand. And so to me, that's why discipline is more important. Like, we are human. We are gonna have good and bad days, sick days, healthy days, but life doesn't stop. And neither should this process. This process is it's like the stock market, it's up and down, but like you say, the course, it's going to go up. But when you look at it, year per year, it's going to be crazy. There's up, downs. But over 30 years, it is going up. So it's like the same concept. It's just, hold. Don't give up, hold, keep going. Just do something. You don't have to be like me. Like, do I train 3 hours every day? Like, if I'm sick, I have a fever, I know, like, post-COVID, like, probably shouldn't, like, I'm still going to go to the gym. It may not be 3 hours, but I'm still going to do something. I'm still going to get my cardio in if I'm in prep. Obviously, in prep, it don't matter. I don't care if I have a fever of 104. Like that train ain't stopping. But off season, like, it's, unless I'm in a hospital bed, like, and I can walk, all right, get those pants on, get that shirt on, and just go do something. So it doesn't matter, like, how many good days you have. Being a champion is all about how you handle the bad days. Everyone does great on good days, but the champion is the one who can handle the bad days best. That's the big difference.
Excellent, man. I don't think we don't need to say anything else, man. That's a perfect way to end it, Bryan. I do want you to give us your Instagram, and if you do have any shout outs, why don't you share those with us? I'll do a quick outro and we'll end it. Okay, go ahead.
And so Instagram is my name, at Bryan Balzano, Balzano. Why don't I give a quick shout out, obviously, to my coach, Justin. Without him, none of my career would have been possible. My posing coach, a good friend, Jonathan Weiss. He does so much for me. He believes me. He helps me get ready for every show too. He lives here, so I see him every day. So when I'm having a bad day, he picks me up. Even though I'm in the gym, I might still need a pep talk. So John does a lot for me. And my good friend, Mark Knight, who's a classic pro, he's always by my side. He's in the gym too. We'll hit the gym together. So he's always like, keeping me up too when John's not there. So those three people are probably the three most important people to my success and keeping me going and keeping me mentally healthy. So I want to thank you all for being in my life, man. Like, each and every one of you, I can't thank you enough for the things that you do for me.
And now, where are you at again, Bryan?
I'm in Columbus, Ohio.
Okay. Now you're the guy that does your body work. Why don't you give his information? Is he on Instagram? So people in that area, if they want to connect with him, they can connect with him, because he's legit if you're utilizing his services.
Yeah. So his name is Tachi Therapy on Instagram. His actual name is Zach. He's the best there is. If you need any body work done, or you're serious about anything regarding getting into bodybuilding, you need to get this done. He's located, I think, in Westerville. And so it's right around that area, like in the northeast part of Columbus. Definitely check him out. I'm there every Wednesday or Thursday. This week I'm going to be there Thursday, but primarily, like, right now, we're there every Wednesday. That kind of switches around. So give Atachi Therapy a try. Instagram is Atachi Therapy and Spa. Give them a check out. Make an appointment. You guys will not be disappointed. The dude, he's just, when you pull up his picture, don't matter how big you are, he'll break you in two.
Good stuff. All right, Bryan, I'm going to do a quick outro, then I'll let you go. But I really appreciate you coming on again and talking some bodybuilding shop with us. Okay.
Yep. I appreciate you, man.
All right. All of you who are tuning into this episode of BTM, I just want to say thank you. If you guys have not done so already, make sure you please hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Also, make sure you take this episode with Bryan, share it on your Instagram stories. Make sure you tag Bryan, tag Behind the Muscle, so that we know that you listened specifically to this episode and found great value in it, in which I know you did. And then finally, I will leave you all with this. Remember, behind the muscle, there's always a story. We'll catch you guys later.
Peace, everyone.